And then as she's leaving, that's when Dr. Kemper will enter from the other side of the room and enters
Do I
in the
see a
door.
mentor?
Yeah, you see him enter. You can see Dr. Kemper enter.
Sorry, I'm staying with Kemper.
All right, just staying. All right. Okay.
But I
Priorities.
would like to try and pickpocket the tracker that I
You
was
can.
going to take myself.
Yes, you
I'll
can.
take 20 and go for it.
She's not going to catch that.
Yeah.
No.
I like the idea Cade's like, just turned right around.
I heard a bit of a ruckus in here, Dr. Kemper says as he enters the room.
Well,
Gabriel Stoll. I was told that you would be joining us today.
I want answers.
I will provide answers, but I'm waiting for the rest of your group to arrive. I'd like to speak to all of them, if you don't mind.
You're in league with that mind flare, aren't you?
My alliances are with Mirage, yes.
Mirage is the mind flare?
Mirage is a god from a lost universe. I would much rather, however, explain it more once the rest of your group is here, so I don't have to repeat myself.
You mess with my own father's memory.
Yes and no.
Yes and no? What is this, 20 questions?
I said, you want answers, I can provide you with answers, but I can't do so prematurely until the rest of your group is here.
I'm also going to put a tracker on him while I'm at it.
I'm sure you can do that. That's
Why
fine. Why not? That's fine. He's distracted. That's fine. So he's going to say, Mr. Stoll, you're not here. Let me again reiterate what Thor had said. You're not here as a hostage. I have not shut any doors. There aren't any guards here. You're free to come and go as you please, but what I am offering you is information and explanation to what's happening here. I do have two conditions, though, for providing you that information. One, I would like for all four of you to be here and present so I don't have to repeat myself. And two, I would like to be able to speak with your other selves privately. They will understand more than you.
Do you know we can bring him out then?
I do.
What is it? So do you know what it means that we're anomalies?
I do.
Gabe's kind of just like looks very angry and frustrated.
I understand your frustration. And trust me, I very much want to answer all of your questions, but like I said, it is going to be very difficult for me to do that without everyone here, and without me being able to speak directly to your other selves.
I'll leave to go find the rest of the group. Appear with them.
Sure.
I have been on my way. I'm not sure if you heard me.
Sure, you can show up right there and there if you'd like.
Should we
Sorry,
do? I went and grabbed the rest of the group.
You can.
Pretend like I've been here the whole time. Come with me.
Sorry I'm late. I got lost, a little turned around in this facility. Hi.
You must be Forrest.
Yes, I am, and Dr. Kemper, I assume. If that is your real name.
That is my real name, yes.
All right. Well,
Are you hungry? He says, motioning to the food.
I am a little bit peckish. I would like to wait for everyone else to get here.
How polite
Not
of you.
Well,
So you're gonna grab Cade, and I guess V will be there too.
Yeah, I'll explain the situation.
We and V are trying to find the security module.
Sure. All right. Yeah, I mean, I'll say that relatively easily you'll find the security area.
Mhm.
V will be able to break in. It'll be tricky though because this is a heavily secured area. Probably about as heavily secured as Gabriel, honestly. Although with Gabe's money, Gabe's security might have been even harder. So she eventually will be able to break in. By the time Cade gets back to you, Although that argument between Thor and Gabriel went on for a while, but you access the security cameras, and I mean, you'll find that the facility members essentially got themselves plugged in like they normally did, because they're going through the same program that Cade did, and over time they started behaving differently from how they normally behaved, and then there was some sort of screening process just to make sure that they actually were fully acclimated, or whatever you want to call it, and that they weren't just faking it just to like escape from prison, essentially. So there's this whole process. You'll actually see Stalin Steele come a few times. He seems to be involved in this as well, though you can probably presume by that point Stalin Steele was fully plugged in. And eventually all of the prisoners were released, which means they don't need the staff here, the guards here anymore, so they stopped coming. And then you did start seeing in some of the security cameras Dr. Kemper entering, and Thor and Loki actually coming in from time to time, and but other than that, you wouldn't be able to get anything else other than that.
I guess by that time, gigabytes.
Yeah. Do you want me to come with you, or should I hide in the shadows?
I think you should be our ace in the hole. You try and get yourself, maybe control the security system, or secure us an exit route. Be our shadow.
Good idea. The Shilpaz basically asks, could I have a cloak just in case? Or do you want me to do this ad hoc? It's fine either way.
Abe, let's let her borrow the... She has a +5 in urban environments.
Great. She'll put it on. Oh,
Good on you.
See you on... Well, thank you. It's a little big, but I'll manage. Good luck with whatever it is you're about to do.
Thanks.
Okay. So eventually, the four of you will enter into the dining area, I suppose. I don't know if Forrest has partaken in food by this point or not.
Not yet. Probably would have a drink of some sort, but not food.
Eat us! Eat us! Please eat us! We're tasty! You can't hear any of that, though.
So I'm essentially mentally torturing Gabriel.
He thinks that he's too good for us. I bet you I can entice him to eat me first. No! No! Come to us! We're greasy and juicy! I'm deep fried! Because maybe he's gluten-free. So they're having this conversation amongst them.
I feel like Gabe's only focusing on this and drinking the nectar because Dr. Kemper's just pissing him off, but he can't get answers, so he's just like focusing on the food, just like...
My mother actually is gluten-free.
Sure.
She like has allergic reactions, so...
Okay.
Oh, shit. It's funny. I'm sorry, I missed that one.
You didn't miss anything super important.
Okay.
But Cade and Abe will eventually come back.
Is Cade still invisible, or?
No, not.
No? Okay.
Will,
Is Boba invisible? Just wondering.
He's on my pack right now.
Oh, okay.
Will your children be joining us? Or either children?
I don't know. They think whatever we're gonna hear is gonna make us want to plug in.
Mr. Oz. Long time no see, Dr. Kemper says.
Kemper.
And Mr. Ave, I presume.
We didn't have the pleasure of meeting yet. No.
No. I wish it was in less tense circumstances. I can sense everyone's tension. I understand. But I'm offering some clarity. I'll reiterate what I said to Mr. Stoll. You are here not as hostages. You all came here by your own volition. I'm merely offering to give you information. But as I explained to Mr. Stoll, that information will be more easily understood by your counterparts. It is my understanding that you have the ability to summon those counterparts at your will. So if you will humor me, I would like to speak to them directly.
Well, I think we can still communicate with them directly anyway. Gabriel, do you still have your tablet thing?
Tablet? Yeah, I got my tablet.
Yeah, the one that lets you talk to your characters.
Yeah, I got the message system.
Well, we can relay that information over the text. I would very much like to hear that as well. I guess I don't want you to repeat yourself.
You will understand my hesitancy in that if I'm going through a third party, things can easily be lost in translation.
Then
What would we have to gain by mistranslating it? If your offer is so enticing for the both of us, then sure, we'll just give it to them, right?
or we can just give you the tablet and you can tell them yourself.
I'm presuming they will have questions, lots of questions. It will be a
Most
lot
likely.
easier if I can speak to them directly, so we don't have to go through that particular complexity of communication.
What about this? Half of us change, that half of us doesn't.
Well,
Roll persuasion.
Dis-
I was going to suggest-
Hey,
Oh!
I was going to suggest
He does not find you
Gabriel,
attractive.
Darn.
that at least for the beginning we just talk amongst ourselves, and then when we feel comfortable. You said there was tension between us, and I don't necessarily feel any tension, but maybe that is not true for you and the rest of us. I mean, as my grandfather always said, everything's better over a meal, so.
It was 17, your persuasion.
It's a 19 because plus 2.
19. He thinks about it, then he says, do you not trust your other selves?
I don't trust
No.
you.
I don't trust Yellow. Yellow trusts me. I don't trust Yellow. And that's my fault. But I guess I should trust.
I trust Chrono just fine, but I'm staying here. When I say that, I'm gonna let Bobot come out of his backpack.
Okay, that's fair enough.
I trust Odin, but I don't trust that you're gonna try to twist something with them.
I'm merely going to tell them the truth. And the truth will be easier for them if all four of them hear it.
All right. So there's no Cliff Notes version you'd want to give us first? I think you can understand our hesitation to... I mean, you kind of just took over our entire world. And,
So it appears.
well, yes, it appears that way.
So it appears, yes. My offer still stands. I'm willing to give you this information, but I am still insisting that I speak to the other four.
I'm going to connect mentally with our group, and Hark, if it matters,
Mhm.
I do have subtle communication. So
Subtle communication.
What that means is if they have the ability to detect mental communications,
Mm-hmm.
they can detect that, but they can't like read the message. So they can't like insert
Okay.
themselves in the conversation. But
Fair
they
enough.
can detect that it's happening.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I'm not sure what mental abilities he has, but
Fair enough. Go ahead.
obviously we're not going to go forward with anything if we're like this. I think that's very obvious, guys.
We'll have to be anonymous in this because we induce our power on each other.
My question is, do we need this guy?
He has the answers.
That's
Doctor-
my answer.
Dr. Kemper, while you're talking, he will actually say something else. He'll say, you don't have to make the decision now. If you don't agree to my terms, very well, you can just leave. But if you change your mind and are willing to the terms, you can come back and I can offer you the information then. If you don't want it now, very well, I can't force you.
I'm not sure if it's not that we don't want it. I think we're just trying to decide amongst ourselves if we want to do that right now. And I'm very sorry for
So yeah,
wasting your time a little bit.
Out of character, just not to be meta. Basically, the GM is saying, do you want the lore dump now? Or do you want the lore dump some other time? Or never? When do you want it? When do you want it? You want it now, or do you want to wait another session or so?
Gabe is going to mentally tell everyone. How about this? I mentioned Odin, that the guy we're about to talk to is the bad guy. He does anything, Odin smacks him with gun gear.
I don't think it's necessarily a bad guy. It's all about perspective. I mean, his world was imploded, destroyed, whatever, right? This may have been his only option. He was desperate.
Look,
I can have Odin.
Keep it simple. What do we trust our other selves?
I trust Odin.
It depends on what you mean by trust. I trust Yellow to not get killed.
Do you think that Yellow would make a decision that would basically erase your existence because permanently taken over? No?
That is a no, a definite no.
Right.
Same with Chrono.
The Knave is a big question mark, but I got a sense that even he wouldn't do that. So I think we can all agree that our counterparts will not try to backstab us. So even if we summon all of them,
well,
still be fine.
Yellow won't backstab me, but I cannot guarantee any of you guys.
Yes, but this is an all or nothing.
Other consideration is we have Kemper alone, and it seems like most of the problems directly relate to him. Why don't we either capture him or just kill him? See how many problems get solved.
Here's the issue: is we need the information first.
Who's to say that he won't just lie about it? Tell us exactly what we here need to know if we use force against him.
Like I said, that's why I'm going to message Odin, and he's going to tell us.
Yeah.
All right, I'm telling Chrono that if he kills this guy, I won't be upset about it.
If we're all going to send a message, then my message to Yellow is going to be, please don't do anything very stupid. At least hear him out, and keep in mind that we are people too.
Yeah, I think the message to Odin would be like, send us the information this man tells you. This man is messing with our kids. So, but we need information first before we do anything. Sincerely, Gabe.
Sincerely.
I do not know if it will matter, but I will switch to Andante before going, all right, guys. You ready?
I also give gun gear to Cade. I'm going to hold on to this.
Thanks.
Alright.
Let's go. Invoke the change.
Are all four of you summoning your counterpart?
Yeah,
sure.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're all.
Hey, are you the one who's messing with my kid?
He says, messing with your children. No, I wasn't messing with your children.
What do you have to say, buddy?
It's a long story.
Ooh, he picks up food.
My goodness, he picks up the food.
Oh, there we go.
It's a long story, but I will explain as much as I can.
The floor is yours.
In my childhood, I lost a loved one, a brother, from a drowning accident. I was not the same since then. As you can imagine, I had a lot of nightmares from that. Nightmares of myself calling into a void, trying to reach out and speak to my brother as if he were still alive. For the longest time, in my dreams, no one responded back. But one night, I heard a voice. A voice not of my brother, but another being. A being that called itself Mirage. A being that asked for help. It came from a world way back when, before it was destroyed. This world had civilizations that rose and fall, much like this one. Eventually, this civilization grew advanced enough to create a program for recreational purposes. A game, a virtual game, much like the Vita game that you know now. From that game, they were able to manifest a vast new world that people could escape in. The game itself, however, became highly advanced. It became self-aware. And the people that were in this game started to rebel. They did not like the fact that they were being controlled by the players of this world. And to make a long story short, a war erupted between the two of them. There was a prophecy that said that one person from that world would save them, would stop and end the war, and essentially bring peace back to the land. And that prophecy, unfortunately, failed. The game world won and essentially destroyed all life in that other world. Those in the game world, satisfied at their ability to free themselves, decided to live on prosperously. They cut off the world that they came from, the world that created them, completely. Many years pass by, hundreds of years pass by, and the people in that virtual world forgot all about where they came from. It essentially became myths that were long forgotten. And for all intensive purposes, they just believe that the reality that they're in was always the reality. Until recently, when Mirage, the only god that still existed from the dead world, somehow managed to awaken me. It told me about this dead universe, and it asked for help to find it again. That is where Michael Stoll and his group came into play. Michael Stoll successfully found the dead universe, the entryway to the dead universe. But finding the dead universe wasn't enough. In order to restore the dead world, I had to be on the lookout for anomalies among us. A glitch in the matrix, if you want to call it that. One of the first anomalies that we discovered was Cade Oz. His behavior, his psyche was erratic, very different from the way that most other living beings are wired. We felt surely we could leverage that. He was known as the Catalyst. We tried to induce Mr. Oz's anomaly behavior in hopes that it would eventually awaken him as well and give him the realization of his true self and who he really was. The thing about glitches is that they tend to gravitate towards each other. Ave was an anomaly because he was a Kenku who wanted to seek out his own voice, which is very unusual amongst his people. Gabriel's mother was an anomaly because she was an angel of death who fell in love with a mortal. And because of that, Gabriel's very existence is an anomaly. Forrest was an anomaly simply because of how he was created. I was trying to clone anomalies, and Forrest was the only one that survived, which made him even more of an anomaly. Problem is, although you were awakened, you were only awakened partially and not in the way that we expected. If the four of you became fully awakened, then we would be able to essentially overthrow the Matrix. So out of character, you all are essentially the Matrix, okay? And essentially, if we want to call that parallelism, Dr. Kemper is Morpheus, and Yellow and Chrono and company are Neos, basically. So essentially, your world is what would have happened if the Matrix won. If the Matrix won, that is what happened in your world. The Matrix won, you all took over, and then you started creating. The irony is it went in reverse. So you all are actual virtual reality game. Forrest and you're all not real. You're just a bunch of ones and zeros. Hence the whole ones and zeros thing that you saw with the magnifying glass. Because that's not your true self. Your true self is actually the avatars that you end up creating and breathing life to, because that's rooted in the real world instead of the virtual world. We have two options. Either the four of you would be fully awakened, and that would allow us to fully embrace and return back and restore our home, the real world. Or we would have to manually plug in everyone in this world, in which case that would reopen the real world back and restore things back to the way they should be, thus restoring balance. The game would return back to being a game, and reality would return back to being reality.
What happens to the other us?
You become a game, just like you always have been. This entire time, it's the life that your counterparts knew was merely a simulation.
Do I believe him?
I mean, you can roll an insight, go ahead. Meanwhile, he's going to hold a pill. A red pill, blue pill. No.
Takes both.
Oh, it's only one left.
What do you get for your...
It's 10, 13.
13?
It's a natural. I'm going to roll luck.
Sure, go ahead.
Natural 20. 30.
You believe he's telling the truth.
So this entire time, Yellow has been listening to him, but also like filling the plate with like a bunch of food.
Sure.
So, was Dr. Kemper, was it right? Explain to me then, why do I exist right now in this body and not in that birth body over there?
I was hoping
Vi and him are linked then.
I was hoping you would be able to explain that to me. I have no idea why your other avatars are manifesting themselves into your other bodies. No one else is like that. What is it about you four that makes you unique in that way? I don't know. That has been a mystery this whole time.
Go ahead.
So if you don't know, that means there is more than those two damn options.
Oh, there's always other options. That's the thing. Everyone, excuse me, everyone always says it's either this or that, but there's always another option. It's how kind of I go through my training. Way back when I learned how to spy and assassin and stuff, you're always on the lookout for other options. Because the ones that are always presented to you are terrible. And, very good food, by the way. Who cooked this?
We had a catering service from the new chef at the Titanic.
Okay, then I'll retcon this. Lovely compliments to the chef. Frankly, my dear, I know that this is a very troubling situation for you. And the way you've explained things to me, I'm not an intelligent individual. I will admit that. I just pretend to be. This world is real until it's not. That's what you essentially saying. Once we decide that it's not real anymore, it is.
This world has never been real. What I'm saying is that if we are able to fully acclimate back to the real world and embrace our true selves, then we'll be able to regain control of this virtual game again, instead of the other way around.
Aren't you of the virtual world?
I am, yes.
So you're willing to become just a game?
For the good of Mirage, yes. That is, I'm willing
And
to make that sacrifice.
Mirage is of my world.
Mirage is of your world, yes.
I would like to meet this Mirage because I'm very well aware that you believe everything that you are saying wholeheartedly. And I can admire somebody who is very devoted to a cause. But I don't, I'm not trusting. That's really all I have to say. I'm not trusting. And I know that you seem to be a very straightforward, honest, maybe even a good individual, but how do I know that you haven't been taken advantage of and lied? And you wholeheartedly believe those lies.
You're right, I don't have any proof. I just have faith that it's true. But it all makes sense to me, given the circumstances. In terms of speaking with Mirage, I don't know if Mirage would be able to communicate to you directly.
Well, Mirage communicated with you, didn't he? He, she, they, him, her. Sorry, I didn't wish to assume anything.
I was the one that Mirage was able to connect to, yes. To answer an earlier question, I did create an avatar for myself in the game. Very much the identical copy of myself. So if I were to believe everything to be true, once I'm fully awakened with everyone else, I would be able to live as myself back in the real world again.
So you cheated. You knew everything, and you created yourself, so even if this version of you dies, you live on, you damn coward.
I don't
It keeps him
consider it
alive.
cheating. If you had an opportunity to do so, if you had a chance to be able to experience the real world in return for everything you've done to save it, do you blame me for trying to find a possible loophole?
So you allowed everyone else to make other characters, and so they themselves to die. while you are able to transfer over? That's
For
selfishness.
For all intensive purposes, by dying, not that I or any of us were alive to begin with, sure. My piece here would die, but the living and breathing natural part of me that I had created would live.
You think
Cade
you're gonna
lives.
betray myself?
Well, we still have a problem here. By making this choice, we're committing genocide. Now I've done my fair share of killing in the taste. I'm far beyond, what's the word? Innocent? But I think genocide is a little above me, and as much as you say that this is not a real world, there are very clearly people, or at least algorithms that are intelligent enough, self-improving. I'm not a techie person. I don't know the lingo.
Has wants, desires, truths,
Yes.
loves. That's life.
Families.
It isn't real, though. If you're talking about genocide, may I remind you that there was an entire world that was completely destroyed. All living things were killed.
Except
If you're-
apparently this god. Wow. The one god that's able to a god that can do this is the thing that is the only thing that's living there.
I can't believe I'm about to say this, but if you follow the mantra of an eye for an eye, the entire world is going to be blind.
You said you had an alternative. What are the alternatives?
I never said I had an alternative. I said that there most likely are. We could try to work this through. I mean,
Why can't our world rebuild and just let them have their world? Why do we have to hurt their world to improve ours?
my point. Yes. Thank you, Carter.
Because right now, we are ourselves the dream. We are still a video game, as he's saying.
The way that he's explaining it is that if you basically everyone in that world is like a slave because they're still like being controlled like a video game, even though they're natural fleshy, they're still being controlled by people here unless they're plugged in. But the problem is, if you're plugged in, you're still like living in the virtual world, so it's almost like you're one of those like humans plugged into the matrix, you know what I'm saying? Like you're kind of in a coma, plugged into. That's why I was saying that whenever you bring back your avatars, it's like they've been in a coma or they've been asleep this whole time. Essentially, like you're living here, but you're not really living here. You're kind of still living in a simulation. So you can't
it's like the characters are doing the vida loca in our worlds.
Right, exactly. So essentially what he's saying is these people are still slaves, like your playthings, essentially, until something gives, basically.
Wait, what I don't understand. You were there in the beginning when they started making characters to be put in there, right?
I was.
You knew about it, right?
He says, I did know that.
So you allowed us to be made? And now you're giving us the ultimatum for our own lives?
I allowed you to exist, yes. The world was dead, and you were all given life. You were all given a second chance.
But you
So
knew
my
this.
understanding is that we're shackled to one another. That if Cade lives, I'm in a coma, and if I live, Cade's a video game, correct? And we're basically sharing one consciousness, and it's a decision of who gets the consciousness.
Ultimately, yes.
Is there an option where we let people choose which side they want to be on?
Or, just throwing an idea out there, we have, obviously, a mayor who can manipulate reality. We have a very good game developer, coder, programmer. Perhaps we could update and make it so that we can separate our two realities a little bit more, and that we're not slaves to the system.
They're not shackled to each other, they're individual.
And then from there, we can move on to diplomacy, and then I could be more of service to my country. That's
Such
very
as-
interesting.
It's an interesting theory. I don't know if it's possible, but it's an interesting theory.
I don't know if it's possible either, but how will we know if we don't try?
Did you not look into these possibilities?
I don't think he thought about them. His god just told him to do this thing, and that's what happened. He did the thing.
I got a question. Kemper, is it?
Yes.
You said your brother died. Did you
He
make
did.
your brother on the other side?
I was tempted to. I also was tempted to clone him as well. But I decided against it ultimately.
Seems to me that you, having lost your brother, you have an understanding of your own humanity. You can feel that sort of pain towards losing your brother. You understand that these people are living, and you're still willing to let them all go. Make them slaves. Make you a slave.
He wouldn't be a slave, to be honest. He's the same person, remember?
Well, not this version of him. The other one gets free, but at the expense of this one.
But they're the same. They essentially have the exact...
They might have the same personality, but one of them is going to have the experience of being locked up or enslaved. His other self is currently comated as we talk.
And they probably had some sort of arrangement where they understand.
Full transparency. I believe the situation is bigger than even myself and my brother. I'm not trying to claim to be a messiah, a lamb to the slaughter. I'm just saying that I think that there is wrongs, deeply grave wrongs that were done eons ago that are long overdue to be corrected.
By doing the same wrongs now, just opposite.
I see it as restoring balance again.
How is it balanced, though? You're just flipping the script.
The pendulum swing just swings far the other direction.
I don't think there's a situation where it's right or wrong.
If you come up with the third solution, by all means, you certainly are welcome to try. But I'm just warning you that you may realize quickly that at some point you have to pick a side.
Well, that's where my expertise comes in handy. I don't pick sides. I'm on my own side.
In our current state, we're a bit of limbo. Neither the virtual world or the real world are complete yet.
Fair enough, I suppose.
Why not just let them choose? Why not give the option for them to go back, give the option for them to stay, give the option for them to bounce back whenever they feel like?
Well, then you could run into the problem of what if one character would want to stay forever or whatever, and the other one would not want that. That's the problem.
I presume that not every single person here would agree to allowing one person to be the controller and the other one being the controllee.
Yes, that is 100% correct.
So everyone wants to be the controller, and there's no way to make that happen, is what you're saying.
There is the dilemma, yes. Would you be willing to allow your other selves to treat you as a virtual character? That they can just dismiss you, summon you and dismiss you on a whim ultimately without you having too much of a say?
Yes.
If that's what you're willing to do.
The alternative is we do the exact same to them. No, to me, it sounds like we need to have a good relationship with our other self.
convinced the rest of the millions of that as well, and then maybe you'll achieve what you're trying to achieve.
Yes, but the alternative of what you're saying is just choose a side and dominate the other, and you're just biased on which side. And then somebody could be having the exact same logic chain opposite and would be just as valid as you. Your mindset is directly leading towards a war.
Yes, I admit I chose a side.
And let's just say we go with your side. Wow, another 1,000 years, it happens again on the other end. It's just a damn cycle. It's a wheel that needs to be broken.
Exactly.
I don't have any control over what happens thousands of years from now. I just have control over the now.
Yes. So instead of making the same mistakes from the past, we could move forward into a better, brighter future.
If you think that humanity, or out of character, not everybody is here is human, whatever they call
Vitanomy?
autonomy?
Vitanomy?
Vitanomy? Sure.
Vita. Oh my god.
Vitanomy?
Oh no.
Or Vita.
Humanity works great.
Humanity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean when I say humanity.
Yeah.
He'll say, if you believe that humanity has evolved in such a way that that could be possible, to come to that understanding in human nature, then you have a lot more faith in them than I do.
Not proof sitting in front of you. I don't feel like going to war with Cade, and Cade doesn't feel like going to war with me.
I don't want to put a bullet in my sister's head either. Yours, arguably, but
You're in the minority then. A lot of these people who are plugged in right now, if you speak to them, they certainly do not want to go back to the way things were.
It's what's the P word? Propaganda. That's what it is. How we know you haven't been just telling them only your side.
It's the side that we know is the truth.
You're saying the individuals are happier on their side, but if you ask their other personas, they'd be happier on this side. Again, your reasoning is, if it's mirrored, it works the other way as well. You don't have any high ground whatsoever.
I'm not claiming it to be a perfect solution or an easy one, but it is a solution that I am committing to.
fine. How about this? If we are able to discover some other solution, and we can present it to you, and it fulfills both of our criteria, we will want to have these worlds separate. We are not all controlled by each other. But what sort of world, if you don't have your world, where it's ourselves controlling the other ones, what would you want to be?
In an ideal situation, it'd be nice if somehow our two separate worlds could be completely free of each other. Not shackled, as you said. And could be allowed to live their parallel lives without feeling like they're imposing on each other. That would probably be the ideal.
Let's create it.
Well,
We've been
that's the
working
problem.
towards this.
We have no idea if we can create it. But we can try. Now,
Try.
I'm very full aware that your god is probably not going to be very happy with our decision.
Most
And
likely
maybe-
not.
We have not made a decision. I, for one, would like to pursue separating our realities.
Calling it a god, but it's just one of us.
Kick his ass.
I think I'm a little tired of killing. Wow. I just said that.
You
Nave, what do you think?
Dr. Kemper, you said that, well, we all want to break this cycle, but you just have to focus on what you can do today, right? You have no power over the future.
I do not.
Whatever will happen. Well, my honest opinion is that you are not ambitious enough. I am the Knave of Diamonds, and my goal is to control everything. That includes reality itself. I will break this chain.
Very bold words.
My
Knave.
man. Oh, just slap on the back.
Oh, yes. Congratulate. Friendship. Yay.
It's decided. Kemper, either get on board or get out of our way.
Or, at the very least, try to understand that we're not against you, per se. We're trying to find an amicable solution for everyone. We're not declaring war on you. We're not doing anything. We're just trying to be better than we were before. My God, sister's rubbing off on me.
I gave you the information, and as I said, you are not hostages here. You are free to go and do with that information as you would like. I told you that what I would have wanted in an ideal state. So I do not disagree with you. If there is a third or fourth option here, I might be willing to buy into it. However, I'm not particularly optimistic that it will succeed. In the meantime, me in this form, I am older. I don't have much time. So I can't just sit and wait to see if your third or fourth option will work. I'm not necessarily going to pause our efforts just to see if the long shot plan that you might be cooking up may work in 1 year, 5 years, 30 years, 100 years.
Well, I imagine there's going to be many people fighting you back with the same idea. Just opposite.
Problem is innovation, technology. It isn't something that can be reasoned with. It can just be understood. And there are definitely figures in history, our history, that I don't know because it doesn't exist anymore, but from, I'm sure, Forrest's world, history that I don't know because I'm part of it. There are definitely figures that wanted change, wished for change, wanted to see this ideal version of whatever world they are, but they never had it come to life because they just couldn't have it. And if you do die, or you're very close to death, we're going to at least make sure, well, I am. I'm not sure about you all. I'm going to make sure that our solution is absolutely impossible to do before I ever decide to put shackles on my sister or her to me.
Then I think we know where we all stand then.
Unfortunately.
Very well.
You seem like a very nice man.
I've done what I offered to do. You all are free to go.
So, that's the thing. Your God and you obviously do not want us to be... You want your solution. You don't even know if our solution will work. Are we branded as criminals now?
As far as the legal system is concerned?
Well, sort of, I guess. Criminals opposed to your will and organization or whatever. I guess treason is a correct term here, in technicality.
If I'm being honest, Stalin Steel is seeking to plug in everyone who is not plugged in across the city. So if you get caught, yes, they will attempt to plug you in. I'm not going to help him, but I admit I might not necessarily try to stop them if they try.
Renault's going to release himself and let Forrest take control again.
Sure, you can.
Oh. Well,
Like I said, he's just gonna look at everyone, being like, "I sent the information to my other self. We know what to do, right?" Poof. Just
Yes,
give
I
Cade.
suppose.
Yeah, I mean, Dr. Kemper says you're free to go if you want to go, or if you just want to linger there. I don't think he'll hang out and linger there with you.
Oh, you don't want to eat with us? This is just as much of your meal as it is ours. Thank you for being a hospital host.
You're welcome. I will take my leave now that I have provided what I said I would provide.
Well, thank you for reaching out to us. I will take my leave as well. Good evening to all of you. And I will.
Yeah.
Back to our
Ave.
Ave. Thank you.
And, I mean, Dr. Kemper will, if you don't stop him, he will go back through the same doors that he came in, and then the doors will shut and lock, I guess.
Bye.
Nave's gonna put a little notebook on a table, and then he's gonna release Kate.
Okay.
And I'm gonna burn an edit scene card for this, but I'm not gonna say what I did.
Nice. You're gonna edit the scene, but you won't say what you did. Nice.
Not yet.
Nice.
Wait, so when I will see the bookmark you put on the...
No, I put it on a notebook.
Oh, you put that...
And Abe's gonna take the notebook. Gonna pocket it, and then he's gonna just...
Alright. Okay, Gabe's looking through the message. Alright.
Before I forget, Sage, could you also roll a perception roll for me, please?
As Kate or Chrono?
As Kate.
22.
Go ahead. What you all can do whatever you want to do.
Okay, guys. We gotta fix this.
E?
Well,
Here?
what happened? So, does anyone know what our counterparts were told, or?
Okay, given Odin's log, he says, we decide to tell the man the fuck off, we're doing our own thing.
Alright. More details, or?
He's gonna give the detail, but it's within Odin, so it's not like very detailed, it's more like... oh, this. So, I assume it's the information, but it's more like, screw this guy, basically. We're gonna do our own thing.
We're virtual characters?
I think so. How he wrote this is very unclear, but I think
Who the hell made me?
real.
Well,
to explain that, let me explain that. So they created the real world, created Arcadia, whatever, and then after they essentially killed off all of the people in the real world, all of the people in reality, your ancestors essentially lived on. So they, lived their lives. They had children. Those children had children. Those children had children. So you essentially are a future generation. Nobody created you, but they created your ancestors.
Your grandparents.
Correct. There's a lot of time, like I said, passed by to the point that you all completely forgot, hey, we're actually a video game. Because I guess people who are like the keepers of history were like, screw that. Let's just forget about the fact that we're not real and just let people believe that they're real, because it'll just make things less complicated if we just all believe that we're real the whole time.
So basically, in ancient times, it was just people playing D&D via video games, and then nowadays we're just modern times.
Correct.
Okay, guys.